Hey, actually some of these like parts or aspects of persecution that I don't know, many might just be becoming aware of. But it's things I've been going through for a long time already. And I'm pretty much like, I'm used to it, you know what I'm saying? But it's definitely wrong, and nobody should by any means be used to it. But I did want to make this recording though, to clarify some things, just like, because my circumstances change. It's ever changing. Like, like the details of my life. I mean, as far as the persecution, it's like a constant. It's always there. But it's like parts of my life, changes because of my lifestyle. As far as, me trying to like earn an honest living and do things the way society say do them. And how I've been doing them ever since I've been able to do it. So it's like, well, doing everything that they say do should get you in the least bit, of any kind of trouble or conflict. You would rationally think. But in my situation, being a follower and servant of Jesus Christ in America, it's had the opposite, reaction, results, because, you got the structures, they like, I already talked about things that were going on all year long, man. Just last year before that, just like it's a ever-present thing. I talk about coercion, racketeering, kidnapping, hostage, it's like a massive hostage situation. It's like just on intellectual levels. And they use lies and stuff in order to keep me under false pretenses from being able to live life out of jealousy. That's just on that level. But we dumb it down a little bit. We're dealing with situations like, okay, everybody know, pretty much now that I've been under this persecution for a while. The only way I ever been able to deal with it, defend myself or vent or anything, is through poetry, writing, and using, and promoting my stuff on social media. I've been doing that for like the last 7 years. That's what I do. That's it's not exactly it's really, it became a lot, me being an author, then it was convenient for me, to have writer-based platforms, things like that. That's common sense. And with me being under attack, and all this, then sometimes it helped. You try to bring awareness to what was happening. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, So it's a lot that's been accomplished, but all of it has been like mandatory, paramount, and very important. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like a lot of attacks I went through were in spite of, but some attacks I didn't go through an experience because I had platforms. So it's like, platforms been under attack, all of that. Everybody know how that works. And it's just a situation that, it's like, okay, I like in 17, it's just, it's just like things, you just don't, it's to repeat it and say it like thousands of times already, to the whole world, nobody don't care. Then they obviously already don't care. They obviously are, they renounce the Lord, they renounce the light, and they renounce Jesus. But that's what's been going on. So you got these structures that actually coerce you and kidnap you. You know what I'm saying? They do things like that, and it's like in like on the capitals and people like that, and they were actually reported to and about like around 17 already. And, things just got increasingly worse after then. But you see, though, what's been going on. I'm under a targeted attack because of my race, religion, and because my massive natural and original talents. They don't want my influence and impact for God to be greater than their favorites, their faves impact for Satan. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what's going on. And this is a country supposedly under God that this happened to that. And so, they drag you, they drag you to nouns, certain people, places, and things that they know have pre-existing foreknowledge that are not in favor of you, because of maybe, unbeknownst to my knowledge, they may have had something to do with the things that I was going through. You feel me? The things that I was going through all those years ago that I didn't even know they had involvement in it. But apparently they imply, that they know something I didn't know by their incessant, adamant, attempts to like strand, it's really murder. It's conspiracy to commit murder. It's just being did on like white collar levels. You know what I'm saying? Like in high society influence, and that's the thing that they've been doing for the longest. And they coerce you to try to stick you in places, people, places, or things, that don't have your best interest in mind, because they know that it's a high likelihood, I guess, somebody or people may have had something to do with the things you're going through. So they know in advance that you're going to be fighting, you're going to be writing, because they've seen you doing it for 7 years already. So they know that's how you're going to do. So they put you in positions to where people won't be in favor, or you'll be in dangerous, you know what I'm saying? Just things like that they do, and then they hinge it, in a way in your life to where you have no choice. And this is not, it's not just for my present circumstances or anything like that, but it's also been a situation that's been happening for, like I say, for a long time, many years before my life today was anything like it is to now, today, or like it is now. The same exact things which happen, and it just evolves and it accommodates the aspects of my life that changes. And this is what I have been going through the whole time, and so it's like they don't want to like hold people accountable for it. So you have to, it's like, if they know people are accountable for it, you can't, in any way say that they're accountable for it. You know what I'm saying? Or you're a terrorist or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way it is. It's like they allow certain people to get away with murder, literally, and continuously allowing the same thing. So it's like somebody on like high levels and things like that actively trying to like start war. You know what I'm saying? They know it definitely somebody, if people murdering and, arranging rapes and, larcening, coercing, kidnapping, negligence and, all these things happening, and nobody is held accountable for it, then it's like, well, you just leave you one person. They trying to exile you out society, or they trying to destroy you in society, or both, whichever one come first. So they doing this to somebody for following Jesus Christ, and it's directly being did like this continuously by structures who claim to be under God. And that's the kind of situation. So that's what they do. They put you in positions where they can get other people to take you out for them with their hands off, as much as possible. So it's still murder, they're still doing it, and it's still active, you know what I'm saying? And you still remain in a position where it's possible anybody in it, the situation is not resolved. You feel me? And that's the kind of situation, man. Like it's never changed. It's always been. It's just been an ever present thing on my life because of my talent. You know what I'm saying? I got a gift, with literary arts, with literature and writing, and like rhyming, and then creating stories, novels, epics. You know what I'm saying? Like just great. Like I could create, massive works of art and good quality content. And they want a way to, it's certain people who want to make room for themselves in my success. You know what I'm saying? So they lie and do anything possible. They coerce you. You know what I'm saying? There is no such thing as marginalization, really. You know what I'm saying? It's conflation. You know what I'm saying? It's structures, control, all activity of that nature. You feel me? So they can do, or they can allow, then they can act, and they can allow, then they can act. You know what I'm saying? Imagine the possibilities. You feel me? And that's been also evolving. So in the interest of these influential figures that want to profit off of my talent and things against my will, without them having anything to do with it, that's the situation. You know what I'm saying? So they constantly trying to degrade the quality of my life, coercing me, trying to force me into directions that, that's, what I'm saying, that I'm not familiar with. Knowing my story and things, what I already been through, knowing that I'm a follower of the Lord, which they claim to be under, it's just like a lot, you know what I'm saying? And that's been the situation for the longest, So what do you do? I mean, everybody that's supposed to be informed already been informed 3 years ago. And it's gotten worse since. And it's still compounding, you know what I'm saying? I'm like a whistle, you feel me? Like I know, you know what I'm saying, no embellishment. Stay on the righteous path. I mean, what else can you do? I mean, it's like somebody intentionally doing everything to like try to cause contention. You know what I'm saying? I represent and stand for the light, the Lord, and people that love and honor what's right and things like that on the same nature. Then you got other people on the other side that stand for Satan and worship Satan. So it's like they intentionally doing for the last years. I honestly, I say it's been like over 23 years. But I could prove the last 7, and the last 3 was that's after they were already reported to. So it's like it's weird because they've been doing like somebody been like doing everything possible, imaginable under the sun to like create some war. Like they have some kind of deep-seated hatred or resentment for something. You know what I'm saying? That they just is festering, and they just want a massive contention. You know what I'm saying? In order to like reorganize a world or something. It's weird, you know, it's like somebody doing everything possible. You know, they absolutely forfeited all rights, all possible rights. Everything that you know, keep that's of what a healthy civil society would consist of. They taken all that and stripped it away from a single person. Every aspect, humanity, human rights, amendments, you know, all of that, you know, Constitution, everything possible, they've totally ignored to facilitate this way of benefiting, you know, from somebody against their will, without their consent, and like incessantly, and while even murdering them to have their substance and essence, you know. And so it's been like a deep situation, but that's the kind of thing they do, you know, like it's a way it's kidnapping, you know. It's just like on like intellectual levels, you know what I'm saying? So they do things like that to get people into those positions. And so, and everybody already know the magnitude of the persecution. It started when I was young. So due to the nature of the thing, this was all happening when I was young. You feel me? Like I was young, like toddler days. Then it carried over. It started like I was around about 3. Then again when I was like 8 years old. You feel me? And then forever since. So yeah, and you know, remarkably that lines up with my birthday, y'all know. But yeah, man, that's the way it's been like the whole time. So given the nature of the things, you can just imagine the magnitude and the gravity of the things that already transpired. So the idea of me, you know, like, it's a lot of things that other people can do that I can't do. You feel me? Like they have me like, they treat me like an asset. You know what I'm saying? Like informally, off the radar, like I was turned into like an asset by Antichrist, you know, structures and stuff at a young age. You know what I'm saying? So they have you like, you know, in a position where you can't do anything or go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And it's totally violation of every right possible of a human. Every person right. You know what I'm saying? It's like absolutely slavery. You feel me? It's like they like put, you know what I'm saying? They keep a way to like keep tabs on all your activity and actions since you were like 3 years old, since you were a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like young, ever since. Just because you're a Christian. You know, and that's been the kind of situation, you know. And so, I mean, that's all I've known. You know, that's all I've known in my life, and it don't seem, you know, get any better. But yeah, so I just wanted to like just update whoever knows that care about the situation. I mean, I've been going through it for so long, I became basically numb to it. But at the same time, I know that it's never safe for me. You know what I'm saying? It's never been safe for me. You know, I mean, wherever I go, anything I do is a problem. You know, anything I don't do is a problem. It's like it's always a constant hunger to destroy me, you know, by structures. You know what I'm saying? For things that I have no control over and I did not bring on myself. And, you know, that's what it is. My massive talent and me saying no to them, you know, to like certain entities that they trying to use me. You know, take my stuff and you know, force me to do things I don't want to do, like, you know, ghostwriting and stuff, like, you know. So I mean, all of it is like working together towards that. You know, it's a massive violation of everything possible. You know, it's like it's absolutely horrific, and it's a biblical proportion persecution. And so I mean, just call it what it is. You know, that's what's going on for the longest. And they it's somebody that's real adamant that a child of God don't get recognition, attention for their work, you know what I'm saying, for their art, and they don't want their survival in this country, you know what I'm saying, period, for following Jesus Christ. And it's been like that since I was been in the country, pretty much. I've never experienced life aside from this. And then they absolutely, sabotage my flesh to the point where, they in total control over everything about me. It's absolutely egregious persecution. So you can understand why God, will do what he feels. You know what I'm saying? Why God gonna react like he do, and why the future's so dark, for situations like this. Person ain't did nothing, nobody. They marked my life early and ever since. So I never experienced, what it feels like to live. And they're trying to make it like that, indefinitely. And that's all I know, you know what I mean? But that's the kind of situation, intellectual persecution and crimes and all this stuff. They, continue to like prey on my life. You know what I mean? They obsessed with me. Obsessed with me, you know what I'm saying? They constantly look for ways so they have like, when I write these poems that I speak the truth about my testimony, and then also show how the basis of whatever reason they say they stalking my life is false. You feel me? The basis of whatever they say is not real, it's not true. You know what I'm saying? And that's reality. So what they do is then they pay. They could pay like coats in the streets or something. They could do or tell people to do something. Or, they could, you know what I'm saying? And they can make them attack you. You know what I'm saying? The structure's doing this directly to an innocent person. You know what I'm saying? Many years with evidence viral the whole time. And so that's what they do. They're basically trying to perform a hit on the Christian man without everybody knowing it, for being black and for being talented.